Norwich is a historical city. It was the second city during the Middle Ages and had a wealth of historical architecture. However, nowadays, some of historical buildings are not under optimistic conditions. Howard House is one of them. Here stands Howard House on the corner of the King Street. Howard House has a long history for over 300 years. Today, it is on the list of buildings at risk published by Norwich City Council. It takes quite a long time to repair it with little process. Norwich City Council had the policy to develop the area of St. Anne's Wharf, which included to restore Howard House, but now it still remains the old looking as 20 years ago. Mr. Robin Whitmore, who has done lots of research to Howard House, wrote an article to Evening News to appeal restoring it.
Howard House was built in the early 1600s by the brother of the Duke of Norfolk, who had a palace in Norwich, as part of what was called My Lord's Garden, which was one of Norwich's 4 pleasure grounds. Norwich had more pleasure grounds than any other city outside of London, so we were very lucky. The pleasure grounds included a bowling green, a wildflower garden, and used to have entertainments like fireworks, tableaus, and dramatic productions. When I first moved to Norwich about 30 years ago, I did go into Howard House. Then it was being used by a local brewery, and it was where the artist painted the pub signs. A couple of weeks ago, there was an article in the EDP about the possibility of developing the area around the house. I think it includes about 487 houses. And part of the agreement with the city council was, if they were given permission to build these houses, that they must restore Howard House.
There was a story in the local newspaper last week that said the planning permission regulations have just been relaxed just a little bit, so hopefully things can start moving now.
Hundreds of new homes and new public facilities will be built behind Howard House.
We have to have modern buildings, but they should be tastefully designed and in keeping with the older architecture. So the older buildings should be allowed to breathe and should look nice when set against the new ones.
I think there's beautiful buildings on this street, and I don't think we have many of them, and it's a beautiful city and it'd be nice to preserve them.
Now the new plan for Wharfside is going on. Is this a new chance for Howard House or another destroy?
It really does upset me every time I go past it and see its state of ruin. So I shall be really pleased when it eventually is restored.